because it started at 10, but I don't know how to use this tech yet, or how to use the application. So, um, fully. And this is like a new technology. So people can come in and chat. Let me see if I can even chat myself. I will say nothing because it won't let me. How do I moderate? How do I. What is this? Start a poll. Can you. Why is it in a little? Can you hear me? Maybe I should learn how to say that in a little. Alright, so. Alright, so that was 50 seconds. How many people do you lose in the first 10 seconds of a video? Has anybody researched that? This girl has. Too many. That just shows how the attention span is and what it is that they're training you out of. They want you to be unconscious and living in emotionality, but what they didn't understand was that they could not control the narrative when there are this many people. And even when there are less people, because of the evolution of our species and our telekinetic abilities, because we are water, right? There is no real geysing from water. It's a matter of time before it wears down the mountain. So, hi, love you. Check out her stuff too. She's amazing. Kathy D. All day, every day. So, in the terms of the mystery and the mastery, this is a combination of, as this is part two. Part one I had earlier because I couldn't find this, but it's a mastery and an understanding of the evolution, the co-evolution. I told him I was filming. He's literally singing at the top of his lungs right now. Okay. It's a mastery and understanding of what the physical is and what they've defined the physical to be, as well as the spiritual and how that comes into play, but also an understanding of time, right? So if you're living in an emotional state because you're being triggered or because things are happening around you, not only is your response your own, but it comes from the collective responses of those that have come before you. And in that sense, because they were more in a state of fight or flight, even though we're pushed to the pinnacle of fight or flight and just scrambling and how we're getting this. We're learning how to converse with each other in a way that is beyond structuring. So there's a few, let's say, entities, beings out there that are doing their best to divide the focus, divide the mind, the many snakes, right? Divide the mind to leave people frozen. But when you look into what all of those are leaning into, it's leaning into you feeling in your body. Now, you want to escape to a certain extent, and that's why we have such a growing rate of people utilizing, I don't know, food, sex, drugs, um, killing themselves in an effort to disassociate. But you can't leave the body of which you came, the greatest mother, Earth. Even energetically, although the universe um, is vast and there's multiple universes and there's multiple dimensions, it all collapses back in on itself in the moment of now. And so when you learn to focus and calm your body and be in your body and feel what it's like to touch the ground that you're on or the chair that you're in or the fabric that you're wearing. And you also know to say, okay, I'm breathing in. I feel my lungs breathing. I feel my abs constricting or my butt tightening up or my breath shortening or my shoulders crunching or my face tightening, right? When you learn how to feel in that without a judgment, right? Like, oh, my eyebrows are crunching, that must be bad, or my eyebrows are relaxed, that must be good. It's actually just being as neutral in the system as possible and recognizing what's happening. And then you can tap into and out from that which is in best frequency or harmony, or, well, harmony is where I was going to, but frequency that you are in that moment. Every single of the trillions of cells that you are, and the number that's so big I don't even know that it is this earth and the universe. Everything in that moment has the ability to shift in the favor of the co-alignment with that which you are creating. Now, because you are living and breathing as the current answer to the prayer of all of the generations that came before you, you can release and surrender while also empowering to know and to bring into that harmony and divine alignment of the entire planet. Wasn't that fun? Or was that stressful? It's probably a lot stressful. But so it's like I don't think I don't know about the physics of this, so I'll look it up actually. The 0 point of meditation and of breathing is the co-creation space. So the fact that science is showing, right, because for whatever reason in this particular time and paradigm, we've a lot of people have deemed science the new god and the new foundation, and they are mistaken. I'm just going to be out there. All of it's mistaken, but all of it's also true, right? Because we need to use it to define our reality. We need to use it to see that, okay, I'm doing something right, right? Well, if you're uncomfortable, it's not just I'm doing something wrong. It's, okay, I'm uncomfortable, and I've been uncomfortable for a while. That means, I mean, what am I searching for? Well, automatically you're searching for homeostasis, and based on how safe you've been, how emotionally supported you have been, intellectually stimulated you have been, and your ancestry, right? Whether they've been hiding or denying, whether they've been absent or avoidant, there's a way to realign and readjust and reset the homeostasis. Now, the nerve, your blood is flowing, your heart is beating, your stomach is digesting, your guts are, you know, doing their thing, all absorbing nutrients, kidneys filtering, liver filtering, you know. Everything is automatically working. However, it's the emotional state of the body as well as growing. Well, okay, the emotional state of the body is what allows or resists, what surrenders or fights. And I guess dances. We're not going to call it a fight anymore. We're going to call it a dance because it's a matter of flowing, right? It's not a matter of just meeting in opposition, right? Because you can do that in dance too, just meet, but then also twist and turn. I studied Aikido for a little while, and it wasn't sheer defensiveness. It wasn't attacking, and in fact, there's no attacks traditionally in Aikido. It's about the flowing with the universe, right? It's about the flowing with the person who's attempting to attack you, but then turning that in on themselves, right? And as you can see, it's like a water type of movement. And as you move, you can feel the warmth rising in your body, right? It's the same thing about the different modalities. You want to start healing yourself, you want to start healing your family and those around you, start moving your body. Start accepting and observing and being present, and then shift that perspective if it's a non-flowing. So when things don't flow, what happens? Blood builds up, maybe cancers build, the cells start to mutate, the cancers, the different diseases, these are all different fights within the system. But when the system naturally flows, the water goes from the mountain to the ocean, and the clouds rise and come back to the mountain and rain down, and it continues to flow. Now, your system also has a flow, right? I mean, theoretically it's not just going down, but that's how our evolution works, right? We swallow, we chew, it gets goes down, it breaks down. We breathe in air, it circulates throughout our system. And then we breathe out. Well, that breath is in the top. We need to actually also move the bottom, move the legs, move the system, and just envisioning how it runs through the system here. So I'll use our lady as an example. In and down and out. And if you start to feel this energy flowing through you, you'll start to feel it flow out through the tingles in the fingers. You'll feel it flow out through the tingles in the feet, or just straight through the root. You can also reverse that energy, right? Because there's no one way to do things, and there's no two ways to do things. There's an infinitesimal way to do things. So we're going to go back through, and you're going to see all this energy come in through the fingers. It starts to feel like a little vacuum or like a little sun, right? Through the feet from the earth. You're breathing up this energy, and you can also breathe it back out. And what it does is when you clear out your systems and flow in both directions, and sometimes you can just flow straight out and back, right? Sometimes when I do my energy alignment stuff, I flow out and back. These are just visual representations to give the mind something to do while the body is allowed the space to reprogram. So the romance and the femininity of stepping into the space of divinity, right? But sometimes you don't have that space to have the mind something to do. Sometimes the body is overloaded, like when assault happens, when mental overwhelm happens, abuse, being in extremely uncomfortable or violent situations, separate, they call them sensory deprivation tanks, right? All of these are there to bring you to the central moment. And with that next breath, stepping into that space. So we collectively envision places that we see with, that we've been shown to have the hardship, show the freedom. Feel into, because those of us who have the space right now, we have the ability to envision and magnetize. And those who are in trauma are also envisioning and magnetizing energy. So breathing in and seeing what is, not seeing what is with discernment. Now, judgment automatically kicks in where you want to say, no, not this. You create like a push, right? But what that push does is it gives the power and it pulls in. What you say is, well, you go and you got to train yourself to do this, okay? So you go into this moment and you see or you know something terrible's happening. And you shift into, we know how to correct and fix this. You may not know specifically how to shift that energy, but just by allowing there to be space for something better, allowing for righteousness and pononess to serve in a year like such, allows us all to step into this space of our and conscious evolution. So for people who are siphoning power, right, their 0 point, their homeostasis is not, it's like a dissonance. It's like music that doesn't match up or line up, right? Because the part of them that is thrilling at being at so much power automatically has a siphon, right? So if the vacuum of putting energy out is this way, what happens with it in the eye in this construct is it's a circle, right? So it comes back and it siphons in the harsher parts of the reality. So, take for example one of the sunken lost black cities in the what is now known as the continental U.S. Right? There's a bunch of cities that were thriving black communities, and they were thriving, but fear from others had them come in and sacrifice and kill and do all these terrible things and burn these cities to the ground and cover them with waters, with lakes, usually water to move, to keep the energy moving. But what happens when there's a strike this deep in the emotional spiritual plane? It creates a block for that. And now we're looking at what, 60, 80 years later, all the information is coming out, and those people are being vilified in the community. So when a person is vilified, and what we're seeing is more instant karma. So when a person is vilified, they create this vacuum that hurts their family, hurts the family that looks like them. It hurts like people that look like them that aren't even family. And so shifting out of, you know, you look at sons and great grandsons and great granddaughters of slave owners, they are uncomfortable and they aren't allowed to be comfortable. And no matter how much money is spent, no matter how much privilege is given, it's not comfortable because of an action created by an ancestor. And even though they're shifting the alchemy and they're not giving the power back, they're just allowing things to be because they still have the inherent abuser concept, right? It's in their DNA. They then have to uncomfortably switch into, it's okay to feel safe around others that may be different than me. To grow up with that space. Now, with the collapsing of time and the collapsing of the understanding, we are now seeing within several same generations, right? Because several are alive at the same time, an explosion of change in a really short period of time, and the creativity of allowing in the new comes from the newest nervous systems, come from the newest concept. So it's it's through our co-evolution that we can shift into having all of our needs met, having a safe planet to be on. Because through the greed and ignorance that has been created through capitalism and imperialism and colonialism, the shift of power, right, is no longer given, it's taken within. The rift has been so gapped that there is a high probability of violence begetting violence, but also love begetting love. There will be a dissolution of that which no longer serves humanity, and it never has served humanity. But the dissolution of it will be as violent as it gets and uncomfortable as it gets. But when you're stepping into your righteousness of creating that power of now, that person who may have been suffering or is suffering is going to receive the sweetest and most beneficial rewards, and so are their children and great grandchildren and all of that. And as we are all one energy being, blip moment in time, you consciously retain that frequency. Now, okay, people are like manifesting this and that, why haven't I gotten my $1 million or my mansion or my this or that? Well, one, if your nervous system is not prepared to handle it, even if by chance you got it right then, You wouldn't hold it. Now, if you take the time and take the steps in the directed action in alignment with that purpose, and then you wanted to see the proof, the $1 million, as long as you're in alignment with knowing that you have it, it steps here. As long as you're in alignment with knowing that peace on earth is happening and it's coming, it comes. And you're making the steps to flow with that part of the movement. You can't just say, I want peace on earth, and then go out and contribute to a company that's actively causing war. I want peace on earth, but I don't want to hear the information about the people suffering, or I don't want to see all of that stuff that's going on in the world. I want to be wealthy, but I don't want to see what corrupt wealth is and what positive and in industrial what the new industry is going to look like, what the new earth looks like. I don't want to participate in its co-design. Well, in order to really design it, you have to look at what parts haven't been working so you can design it the best way. Because this is, as far as I see it, based on what the planet is going through, this is our last dark age. Because this is the dark age. Don't act like this isn't the dark age. But it's also our greatest and last golden age. Because we can jump into that new timeline. We have the time, we have the space, we have the technology, and we have the presence. And by presence, I mean being here right now, making the decisions, having the conversations, showing up as yourself, putting yourself all the way out there. So remember, because I'm going to close off on this, remember that you are sacred and you're doing your duty by being you, by making conscious choices. And whenever you see yourself getting swept into something, you channel and shift, right? Because the only finite things, on earth are earth, air, wind, water. Wait, earth, air is wind, water, whatever. Okay. Earth, air, water, fire, spirit, soul. All of this are the finite things. And we are a mixture of all of that. Now, the infinite is something altogether beautiful. And it's time for us to co-evolve. So master your mystery, people. It's Martes, Tuesday. We're at war. We're battling ourselves to either stay on the planet or half or slough us off. We could kill ourselves with self-sabotage, which is kind of like, it's looking more like that, but it's not the end of the world. It's just the end of the world as we know it. And or as we thought we knew it. It's the end of the world as we thought we knew it. But it's definitely the world that we are building to know. So trust that feeling inside. I love you. It all comes down to you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching this Mystery Mastery Martes, and I will see you guys next week. Do I really want to commit? I guess I gotta. If I'm gonna help spread the word that people are in control of the universe, I wonder if I'm the only one.